Eala admits what she must reassess in her game after defeat to Coco Gauff. Eala enjoyed a stellar week in Dubai, but was reminded just how far from the top of the sport she is in her most recent match. After all, ahead of her clash with Coco Gauff, many were tipping the Filipina sensation to ride the wave of momentum and topple the out-of-sorts world number 5. In the end, those who felt that way could not have been more wrong. The American came out firing, and at one point was just 2 games away from completing a double bagel 6-0, 6-0 scoreline. In the end, she had to settle for 6-0, 6-2. Eala stated how far she felt from Gauff's level in her post-match press conference, and has now explained how she plans to bridge that gap. Eala says she needs to improve in one key area. Asked what she will do in the coming months to decrease the distance between her and the WTA Tour's elite players, the 20-year-old provided a measured answer. However, she had one key takeaway, having reassessed an area of her game that must be improved. Eala admitted, "In the next 2 months? I think I have time now before Indian Wells to try and reassess and improve, take a small break and build again because I've been on the road and competing week after week after week this year. So I think physically is something. I can reassess my physical state, trying to build up on more injury prevention and things like that, and I think that will reflect also in a game. I think that's one of the things that can bridge the gap between myself and, those top 5 players." Eala achieves new career-high ranking after Dubai run. Despite the heavy nature of her defeat to Gauff, this has still been a week of great promise for Eala. And it came at the perfect time, just weeks before she will return to Miami defending plenty of ranking points after reaching the semifinals of that event last year. This run in Dubai has actually helped lift her to new heights in the world rankings, posting a career-best position of 32nd. It will be intriguing to see how she can build on that in the coming weeks before Miami, and then how she deals with the pressure of matching her previous overperformance at a WTA 1000 event. The long road forward. Eala's moment of truth after Coco Gauff defeat. In the glittering arena of the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships, under night lights and the watchful eyes of thousands, a defining moment in Eala's young career was etched in stark, unfiltered reality. Facing world number 4 Coco Gauff in the quarterfinals, Eala endured a heavy 6-0, 6-2 loss, a scoreline that on paper looked harsh, but on that brilliant hard court revealed exactly how far a rising star still has to climb in pursuit of elite excellence. But defeat, especially the raw, unvarnished sort, can also produce its own kind of breakthrough. For Eala, this match was more than a statistical exit from a tournament. It was an inflection point, an honest appraisal of where her game stands and where it must go. Down but not defined. The scoreline told one story, a dominant Gauff, a struggling Eala, but Eala's post-match reflections told another. Despite the lopsided result, the 20-year-old Filipina spoke with unusual straight talk about what she must reassess and refine. "I think physically is something. I can reassess my physical state, trying to build up on more injury prevention and things like that, and I think that will reflect also in my game," Eala said, acknowledging that aspects beyond mere technique, her conditioning, recovery, and resilience over long seasons, must evolve if she is to close the gap with top-tier rivals. This admission of self-evaluation isn't common among athletes immediately after defeat. Too often, competitors deflect, obscure, or over-rationalize. Not Eala. She confronted the gulf straight on. "There's still definitely a gap in terms of level between me and Coco and other players of her caliber." The brutal math of progress. At just 20, Eala already commands attention. Her run to the quarterfinals, which included impressive wins over higher-ranked players, pushed her to a career-high ranking just inside the world's top 40. But Gauff, a 2-time Grand Slam champion and a seasoned top 10 mainstay, exposed what raw numbers don't always show, the relentless speed, precision, and tactical nuance required at the pinnacle of the sport. The contrast was sharp. Gauff seized control early, dictating play with penetrating ground strokes and tactical depth. Eala, meanwhile, found herself on the back foot, unable to mount sustained offense and repeatedly outmaneuvered. And yet, even within that defeat, there were subtle signs of grit, Eala raised her level during the final games, managing to hold her serve and extend rallies longer than earlier in the match. It was a small but meaningful glimpse of the competitor she aspires to become. Reassessment isn't regression, it's foundation work. Most young stars dream of instant breakthroughs, Grand Slam glory, highlight reel victories, Twitter trending moments. But the true journey, as Eala's reflections suggest, is less glamorous, more fundamental. It is about refining the machine that is her body, improving the rhythm of preparation and recovery, and developing strategic clarity that can withstand the punishing rhythms of elite tennis. "I've been on the road and competing week after week after week this year," she said, pointing to the physical toll constant travel and competition can exact. Eala plans to take a brief break before marching toward the marquee events of the spring, a decision rooted not in avoidance, but in long-term improvement. Her acknowledgement of injury prevention and recovery as a core focus isn't just sensible, it's wise. In modern tennis, where margins between victory and defeat are measured in millimeters and mental resilience, physical conditioning can be the invisible hand that decides outcomes. The mental gap and its promise. Physical game aside, Eala's candid recognition of a competitive gap is instructive. She didn't excuse her performance or hide behind excuses. Instead, she saw that gap for what it was, a measurable distance, one that both humbles and motivates. "I definitely could have performed better today," she admitted. "But at the end of the day, my job is to try and close that gap." This mindset, embracing the discomfort of self-critique and transforming it into forward motion, may be her most valuable takeaway from Dubai. It reveals a maturity that belies her age and elevates her potential beyond raw talent. A global stage, a growing legacy. It's also worth noting that Eala's presence on this stage isn't incidental. Wherever she plays, from the Middle East to the United States, she draws large, passionate crowds, often the loudest and most vibrant in the arena. Gauff, even as her conqueror, acknowledged this, praising Eala for bringing new demographics and energy to the sport. The American champion's remarks underscored a deeper truth: Eala's impact transcends the scoreboard. Her rise has energized a nation and expanded tennis's global footprint. For young athletes everywhere, her journey resonates. Success isn't linear. Growth isn't always visible. And sometimes, the most important victories occur not in triumphant celebrations, but in moments of honest evaluation, turning observation into action. So what happens now? To an outside observer, the defeat might appear definitive, a reminder that the elite remains out of reach. But for Eala, it is a starting line. She will enter upcoming events,